So, y'all liked the video, huh? Well, here's part 2, I guess. Welcome back to the Trails in the Sky experience thingy. Last time we covered the game's prologue, links in the description. But to sum it up real quick, 2 kids became racers, did various jobs, stopped a robbery, and now their dad's missing. Next up is chapter 1, which finally kicks off the main story, so yeah, let's jump in. We begin with the brides having dinner with Shara and Estelle's taking the news of her father's disappearance way better than expected, actually. She's pretty much ready to head out to the Bose region to find out what happened to the airliner and her father. She's not alone, of course, as Joshua and Shara are going to be coming along as well. Next morning, they're pretty much ready to head out, but Estelle still has some business left to do. Specifically, she heads to the clock tower, and there she reveals that's the place where her mom died during the war. During the Imperial Army's attack on Roland, Estelle was around the clock tower, and when it got destroyed, her mom protected her from the falling rubble. Unfortunately, she didn't make it out. She really didn't like going to the clock tower, specifically because she didn't like the idea of purely relying on her mother's strength. But just this once, she feels like it's okay. Joshua then tries to comfort her, but... Well, she's in good spirits at least. Then you're pretty much ready to head out to the Bose region, and you'll have to go on foot because the airliner stopped flying for obvious reasons. You then head west across Vert Bridge and make it to the city of Bose, a trading city with a massive market in the town's center. You make it to the guild and register at the Bose branch to be able to accept requests. You're tasked with finding out more about the missing airliner, but doing that is going to be tricky since the army's been very silent about the matter, not even willing to give any information to the Bracer Guild. Mainly because General Morgan is not very fond of bracers, at all. You do manage to find a way to slip by, however, as the town's mayor Maybell, best mayor by the way, wants the bracers to investigate the incident as well. She gives them a letter to give to the general to convince him to let them in, which should work as long as they hide the fact that they're bracers. So as they get this urgent request, they obviously leave to do various small jobs, explore the region, and accidentally overlevel, just like a true completionist. Oh, and did I mention die? Yeah, I think I should mention that. After finishing the side shit, you make it to Haken Gate, the heavily fortified border between Liberal and the Erebonian Empire. You're told to wait at the bar because the general's away at the moment. There you meet Olivier Lenheim, traveling musician from Erebonia, my religious figure, and best character in the game. Seriously, this character and his interactions with everyone else are fucking hilarious. I can just put a compilation of all his lines in the video and it'd probably be better than anything I could ever write. You quickly ditch him though, as the general has returned. He informs you that the missing airliner is the work of the Sky Bandits of the Kapua family, who are demanding a ransom for the safety of the passengers. Oh god damn it. Yeah, the general's less than pleased that you lied to him. Shara too quickly loses it and starts shit-talking the army. Before the situation escalates, however, Olivier intervenes with a song. Absolutely beautiful. Thanks to his intervention, the general lets you go, and you get to talk to Olivier a bit more at the bar. Based. You then escort him to Bose and report your findings to the guild and the mayor. Hey wait, that's Niall and Dorothy.
なあ、お嬢ちゃん、頼むからそこ通してくれよ。市長から一言コメントをもらうだけでいいんだからさ。
そうそう、ついでに写真も撮っちゃいますけど。噂の美人市長が表紙を飾れば部数倍増も間違
子、何失礼なこと言ってやがる。
ナイアル先輩が言ったんじゃないですか。ネタがないんだったら美人市長を客寄せのアイドルに仕立てて紙面を稼いじまえって。
Dorothy, you stupid bitch.
お帰りください。あれ、美人市長の写真撮らなくてもいいんですか？
頼むからこれ以上喋らないでくれ。
This is the face of a man who's completely given up. So now that you're without any real leads, you try and go to Emerald Tower, of course, and as you enter it, you find out someone else is inside. That someone is Professor Alba, of course, investigating unsafe ruins yet again. Shara basically forces him to get out, and you get some extra payment and BP for a quest well done. Nice. You then finally talk to Niall, who's absolutely done with life, and trade some information with him, the important one being that a kid apparently saw a flying shadow over Ravenou village. It's pretty much the only thing you can go off of right now, so you bring some life back into Niall and depart for Ravenou village. On your way there, you meet Agathe Krosner, a senior bracer who's kind of an asshole with anger issues, totally then mistaken for another asshole redhead with anger issues during my first playthrough, by the way. He quickly leaves, however. He's really not going to be relevant until later on. You make it to Ravenou village and meet with the kid who saw the shadow, and it turns out there were actually two of them, and they were headed towards the mine. So you get the keys to the mine and go there, find a missing airliner along with some Kampua bandits who go down incredibly easily. However, our party has a case of terminal dumb, so the bandits are able to get away. Exploring the ship, you find out that all the hostages are gone and that the valuables have been taken, and deduce that it's most likely cause their base isn't big enough to fit the giant airship. But before they are able to report any of their findings, they get arrested due to being suspected of working with the Sky Bandits. You're then put in jail and told you'll probably have to wait a couple days until you're let go, if proven innocent. They aren't alone though. Their good friend Olivier is there as well. Now you might be wondering, how did such a beautiful young man end up in prison? Well, he ended up working at the Anteros restaurant as a pianist who's getting paid in food and wine. However, red wine isn't good enough for our dear friend, so he went to the cellar and found a drink that suited his fancy. That wasn't any ordinary drink though. It was Grand Chardonnay from the year 1183, won at an auction for about 500,000 mira. He then began to drink the beautiful drink, but our friend isn't stingy, so he offered the manager a drink as well, to which he called the guards and Olivier got arrested. No, I'm not making any of this up.
以上が僕をここに送った涙なしでは語れぬ悲劇的事情さ。さあ、思う存分同情してくれたまえ。
バカ。
Wow, rude. The next morning comes and you're actually being let go, and it's all thanks to the mayor explaining the situation to General Morgan, who just now found out that they're kids of Cassius Bright. Turns out the reason he hates bracers so much is because he's salty that Cassius left the army. Oh, and Olivier's being let go as well. Turns out the mayor owns the restaurant, so she just kind of forgave him. So not only does he drink 500,000 mira Grand Chardonnay, he gets away with it as well. Absolute fucking Chad. From there, you pretty much just continue the investigation as usual. Oh, and by now you have access to some of the more bullshit arts and crafts in the game. One of those is Joshua's Flicker, which attacks enemies in a line, deals really good damage, and delays the enemy's turns. You should use this move pretty frequently, it's a lifesaver in a lot of situations. The next two are arts, specifically Earthwall and Chaos Brand. Earthwall casts a barrier to all party members in range, making you immune to an attack, which is really fucking good when an enemy has a move that usually does a ton of damage because it just lets you take no damage whatsoever. The only real downside would be the EP cost, but as long as you have EP charges, it's manageable. But you know what doesn't cost a bunch of EP? Chaos Brand. It's a move that inflicts the confusion ailment on an enemy. Now that ailment is probably one of the best in the game, behind instant death and petrify, but it can still be better in some circumstances. Basically what it does is it makes your enemies attack their allies instead of you, and it lasts a couple of turns. Now the best part about this move is that there are very few enemies in the game who resist it. Yes, even some bosses can be confused, making a total cakewalk out of some fights. But what's worst is that during my first playthrough I didn't know how good this move was, so I just didn't use it at all. Okay, now let's actually get back to the story. So while you were gone, there happened to be a robbery in the south block of town. You head there to investigate, but the royal army's already there and they're threatening to arrest you yet again. But then Colonel Richard of the Army's Intelligence Division appears and tells you that you're free to investigate as much as you want. Wow, what a nice and upstanding man. Sure do hope he uses his power and influence to do good for the kingdom. As you're investigating the homes, a man comes back from Valeria Lake where he went to fish, which pisses off his wife to no end. However, he does reveal that his friends saw a strange group of people hanging around Valeria Lake, so you head there to try and find them. You find the man over there, but he's completely engrossed in the fishing. You do manage to get his attention though, and it turns out that his name is Lloyd. He's an expert fisherman over at the Fisherman's Guild, which, yes, exists. And he tells you about the strange group of people that showed up and tells you that they're supposed to show up here this evening. But of course, not without telling you about the Guardian of Valeria Lake, a massive fish that he's been trying to catch for a long while. So as you leave him to get over that barrier, you pretty much decide to just stay overnight to try and catch the criminals. While you're waiting, Olivier and Shara go out to drink, Joshua reads a book, and you go out and fish. Ah yeah, look at all these tiny ass fish and boots I caught. As the sun starts to set, you go out to look for Joshua, who is feeling down again.
相変わらず何も聞かないんだね。
約束したじゃない。話してくれる気になるまで私からは聞かないってね。それに5年も経つんだもん。なんかどうでもよくなったし。
そう、5年もだよ。どうして何も聞かずに一緒に暮らせたりするんだい。あの日父さんに担ぎ込まれたボロボロで傷だらけの子供を、昔のことを一切喋らない得体の知れない人間なんかを、どうして君たちは受け入れてくれるんだい。
やった。そんなの当たり前じゃない。だってヨシアは家族だし。前にも言ったけど、私ヨシアのことってかなり色々と知ってるのよね。本が好きで武器オタクでやたらと要領が良くて、人当たりはいいけど他人行儀で人を寄せつけないところがあって。
ちょっと。
でも面倒見は良くて、実はかなりの寂しがり屋。もちろん過去も含めて全部知ってるわけじゃないけど、それを言うなら父さんの過去だって私あまりよく知らないのよね。だからといって私と父さんが家族であることに変わりはないじゃない。多分それは父さんの性格とか癖とか料理の好みとか、そういった肌で感じられる部分を私がよく知ってるからだと思う。ヨシアだってそれと同じよ。
God, she's great. Nighttime eventually comes in, you go out to spy on the Kapua siblings who just arrived. Unfortunately, Olivier's fucking dead. So it's just the Bracer trio for now. They meet with two soldiers, one of whom really gets Joshua's attention. It's probably nothing important. Their next plan is to find and bust their airship so they have no way of escaping, but Olivier, who's apparently fine now, has a much better idea. Specifically, hiding in their airship and taking out everyone at their base and rescuing the hostages there. During their search, they also find some stolen goods like a ring and a black notebook, which will come into use later. You find the hostages, but Cassius isn't among them. As it turns out, the dude left the Grand Cell right before the airliner was about to depart. God damn it, Dad. But that's something to worry about for later, as we still got the Kapua bandits to take care of. Don, the oldest sibling and the mastermind behind the entire heist, plans to kill all of the hostages and then go on a vacation with all the money he gets, and then repeat it after he runs out of money. Gisette and Kyle are very upset at this, but before the situation escalates any further, you go in and kick their asses. They then manage to escape again, but the army catches them just at the right time and takes all of the credit. Woo fucking who. But hey, at least you got another recommendation and a package from Dad. He sent them a letter which tells them that he's gonna be away for a while and that they're free to pursue whichever road they want, and a package containing a mysterious ornament which is most likely an artifact from ancient times. Now, Estelle's pretty pissed that Cassius is involved in shady business, but she decides to follow his advice and travel across the country to become senior bracers. Shara and Olivier are returning to Roland though, so now Estelle and Joshua are on their own again and are about to head to Rouen. That finishes off chapter 1, and oh boy, it sure was a chapter. While I still found the prologue enjoyable, I can't really fault anyone for losing interest in that part, simply because nothing noteworthy happens for a couple of hours. If you fought the Kingdom Hearts 2 intro drag, then oh boy. But luckily, chapter 1 really picks up the pace. While it's still not the main conflict of the game, it still has a lot of stuff going on that keeps it interesting. Also, the character interactions, mostly Olivier, made the chapter so much better. While I did enjoy the prologue, chapter 1 had me hooked. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Next time in chapter 2 we'll be going to the Rouen region. See you then.